This is a Polar Star podcast. My name is Lee Nason, and thank you for hitting play on my show today. This is the Polar Star podcast, where I have conversations with artists, entertainers, and business owners that call Maine home. My guest this week is Brad Skrillinger, aka Skrillinger. He's a glass artist, and he is one of the most talented people I've ever met. His glass truly blows my mind. You should go follow him on Instagram at Skrillinger. If you like this show, please subscribe where you listen, tell a friend, and visit PolarStarPodcast.com for updates on everything we're doing out of the Polar Star studio. Please follow Tim Duffy's show at A Better Tomorrow on Instagram and Twitter. We'll have release date coming on his show very soon. We're packaging it up, getting it ready for you. And stay tuned for some very exciting news on another show we're working on here. I couldn't be more excited to bring you this to you guys. I can't wait till I have more information to share with you. Stay tuned here. Visit PolarStarPodcast.com. If you have something to say about me or the pimple on my face, email PolarStarPodcast@gmail.com. And I'd love to hear from you, good or bad. Anything's fun. I'll read it on the show. We'll all have a laugh. With no further delay, here is Brad Skrillinger, a.k.a. Skrillinger. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's good to see you. We live in the same building and stuff. And
I know. We see each other running back and forth every once in a while, but
if there wasn't fucking pandemic, we'd be chilling more.
Yeah, sure.
I hope.
If there wasn't pandemic, I'd be working constantly.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
And you are really good at what you do. I mean, that's of course I like you as a person. Oh, look at that. But the last time I was here, I knew you did sound design and that sort of thing. And
yeah, I try to create work for myself.
And the last time I was here with Murph, the way that you mixed it was so interesting to me. That's why I was like, yeah, man, let's do this. I
just
believe in whatever.
Here in headphones, just like we're talking right now.
Yeah, man, because
really?
I grew up playing in punk bands and stuff, and we would always put the headphones on and record. It sounded like shit. And check out Milk Spot, that's the fucking on SoundCloud Milk Spot.
Really?
But
yeah, we'll get it out there.
The punk band I was in 10 years ago.
Yeah, so you so thank you. I appreciate the compliments. But you are a glassblower?
Yeah, that's what I do for my job, and it's my passion as well. It's a weird sort of thing.
Yeah, but you basically you make your living on
100%, yeah.
Selling your glass.
100%.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, where it's just so we can hear it from you, where can we find it?
So I have some work at the Blazing Ace, and I guess that's the only place in Portland, because during pandemic or whatever, fucking Aware is now switching over to medical. So
okay.
I don't know, selling medical marijuana.
They haven't been picking up glass.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be selling glass anymore. And then the higher concept isn't around anymore. So as for Portland, at least, the Blazing Ace has some work. For Maine overall, Riptide is great up in Belfast. They pick up a lot of my work.
The work's amazing. The work's truly amazing. You. What's your Instagram?
Skrillinger.
Skrillinger.
Skrillinger. Yeah.
Okay. Just so people can hear it from you and find you.
Yeah. Sure.
So, where are you from?
I am from. Well, I was born in New York, but I grew up in in the Miami area, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Hollywood, Pembroke Pines, which is technically Broward, but spent most of my time in Miami. It's right on the border of Broward County in Miami.
Okay. Did you go to high school there?
Yeah, I went to high school there.
Okay. Yeah, because you spent the beginning of the quarantine there, right? You went home.
Yeah, so crazy story. So like year, or like I don't even know, like it feels like 2020 didn't even really happen. You know what I mean? It's like when I say last year, I'm talking about 2019. So yeah.
I do that too. I do the same thing. And then people are like, that was 2 years. I'm like, whatever. Like, you know what I'm talking about. This past year
didn't really happen.
It was a mulligan, dude. It was like
it was a mulligan year.
Yeah. It like Like I stayed back in 8th grade. I stayed back in 2nd grade. Like we just stayed back a
Wait, did you
year.
really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I stayed back twice.
Wait, why were you held back in 8th grade?
So I go through it in episode 1. Okay, so you went to high school in Florida
Yeah, I went to high school in Florida.
and you were like a punk kid.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was like a hippie first, then became a punk. You
Were
know
you?
what I mean? Yeah.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, like, I still don't have it figured out, but at the time, it was like these people don't fit in, also.
Yes.
You know, so that's what I gravitated towards. Like, I'm not.
I get that.
I
totally.
can't fit. I was smoking like weed all fucking day.
When did you start smoking weed?
Like 12.
Really? That is pretty
Yeah,
young.
I was eating mushrooms at like 13.
Really?
Yeah, like every weekend, you know? So in Florida, there were
What do you get from mushrooms when you're 13?
Free.
I'm always curious.
free, because there were all these cow pastures in Florida. So we would go out to the fields and we'd pick the mushrooms.
I meant like mentally, but
Oh, what
you
do
were
you get?
literally like finding the mushrooms.
Yeah,
on cow
we
shit.
had a friend that was like 18 or 17, and he like
Were you
knew.
like learning introspective things
So you
about
know,
yourself?
Well,
Like,
you know what's interesting?
or were you just high and laughing?
No, it was super introspective. No, not at all. Like, it's kind of interesting because like I could never imagine being resentful towards my parents, and I feel like, you know, I was going through adolescence as I'm eating mushrooms and taking acid and shit all the time.
That's my question.
Which is
a
weird.
lot because
Yeah.
I got it. So I started smoking weed about 14,
Mhm.
but I didn't get into psychedelics until college.
I think that's it just makes sense.
You know,
that's the
and,
way
like
to go.
it just
yeah.
wasn't introduced. You know,
Sure,
there were
sure.
people doing heroin,
Mhm.
but there wasn't a lot of psychedelics in my
where
town.
did you grow up again?
Wilmington, Mass.
Okay, yeah, massive, yeah.
So like, you know, if you wanted pills, there were plenty.
Sure,
And I
sure.
never really touched that stuff until like after psychedelics.
Right.
But like it just wasn't introduced to me. So I am always curious about, you know, cuz like I still feel like I took psychedelics too young and I was 20.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
like
yeah.
I felt like I didn't know what I was doing.
Dude, I
And I was playing with a power that I wasn't aware of.
100%.
And it like broke my brain for a little while.
Dude, like I stopped tripping when I was 15 because I had a really bad experience.
Okay.
And I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And you know, like
What can we talk about that experience?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Okay.
But it was, it wasn't great, but like I was thinking about like how maybe it had affected me taking it so early or whatever, like taking hallucinogens so early. And I think it let me forgive my parents.
Okay.
Like looking back on it,
Yeah.
you know, because there was this, like all of those experiences so young, sort of just like, they're like, you're nothing. You know what I mean? They're like, I already felt like,
breaks you down.
like socially, I already felt like an outcast, right?
Yeah.
But then I had these existential experiences where I, at my core, felt like nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing, nobody was anything, I'm nothing. And it made everything a lot easier to
Dust
deal
in the
with.
wind.
It made everything a lot easier to deal with. I wasn't angry at my parents anymore.
Wow.
That being said, I was doing stuff that would make them angry, like eating acid all the time and like
Yeah.
skipping school and smoking weed and like fucking, you know, stealing shit from stores and stuff like that. But like
Sure.
I didn't, like their anger towards me didn't really
Mhm.
affect me after a point. And it didn't feel like rebellion because it wasn't towards them.
Okay.
Once like the hallucinogens came into it, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Because I mean, I didn't even start to think about that stuff until, you know, my mid-20s, until like my mom, you know, got divorced and then remarried, and then I started to just kind of see her as like an old lady.
Right.
And that's when I started to being able to forgive her. I was like, oh, she's just old. And like,
So it's such a weird thing, like
yeah.
realizing your parents are people like
And
you.
that's
Yeah.
what helped me. I was like, oh, she's just doing her best, you know,
I-
with the situation given.
I think the hallucinate, like doing the drugs and stuff really young, and the way that they my parents dealt with it. Like, they just didn't know what to do, and I don't blame them. Imagine if you had a 13-year-old kid, and I would just talk to my parents about, like, I'm eating mushrooms or whatever, and my mom would freak out.
You were honest even then?
100%, yeah.
Wow.
Because of the mushrooms, you know what I mean?
Really?
100%.
You just felt like you had to come clean.
I just felt like I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Okay.
So I should be able to talk about it. And I wasn't doing good in school or anything. Like, I had no right.
See, I come from it a little bit different. I was always told not to do drugs. Drugs were always vilified from my parents. And then, like, even when I started smoking weed, it was like a problem. You know, like I'd get caught with something here and there. And it was like, it was a big problem. And my mom was always really strict about it because my father's a drug addict and he wasn't in my life because of that. And she was like, you're going to turn into him. And like would give me these like cliche, how can you tell a drug addict's lying? His mouth is moving and like things like that. And like really like vilified it. And like, it didn't do much good because I ended up becoming one anyway.
Right.
But I do what I say. I mean, the good thing to come out of it is that it was instilled, like, I do what I say. I don't just say things to say things because like the vilification of like being a liar was like instilled in me so young that it's like, that's what the problem with doing drugs is, that you become unreliable. So I've always been like hyper reliable.
Yeah.
Like to a fault almost.
No, same. And it may be the combination of the mushrooms and my parents' fucked up divorce. You know, like my dad was a drug addict as well. And then my mom sort of just like telling me all this fucked up shit about my dad. And then my dad telling me all this fucked up shit about my mom. And then I probably just felt like, oh, well.
How old were you?
Oh, so young, man.
Right before you started.
Yeah, like pretty much like when they got divorced when I was like 5, so like up until
oh wow, so that is
to when I started eating mushrooms, you know.
So same with my parents. So I don't mean to cut you up, but same with my parents. But I wasn't caught in the middle like that.
Oh, I was definitely.
So how was it like? So being caught in the middle, and from 5 to 12,
right?
Those are pretty influential years. Yeah.
Sure.
So you remember that kind of it being instilled on you?
Oh, that's a fucked up thing. I don't.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I think I blacked it out. And I should probably,
because it was traumatic.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't. And maybe the mushrooms helped in that sense, you know?
Yeah.
At the same time, like, I think I was too young to be doing them for sure.
Yeah.
I think it definitely affects the way that I think about stuff.
It sounds pretty Florida. It sounds like
It sounds very Florida. Yeah, we're all fucked down there. But like, I don't regret any of it, you know? Like,
okay.
I had a similar experience with my mom. She told me my whole life, like, you know, drugs are bad. You know, now I knew where it came from or whatever.
The dare generation.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a lion telling me not to do drugs. I'm like, of course, it's a lion. How can I not listen to it?
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, right.
What were they thinking? Like, that's going to be convincing a lion?
I don't know.
Make it a
man.
lion?
Yeah, it just.
And it was a lion convincing people.
It was just cartoon. It didn't matter that it was a lion. It was just like it was. I think it could have been a rhinoceros. I don't think the adults in charge of that situation were giving it much thought. I don't think so.
They were fucking getting all that grant money and shit.
Exactly.
They got a lot of money going somewhere else.
Exactly.
For sure.
They had one guy
make it
like
a fucking lion.
Yeah, can you draw up a fucking lion and we're gonna take all the money.
Yeah. Dude, that shit was weird, man. Dare we all had those shirts and stuff.
Yeah. I don't even really I don't even really remember my childhood either.
Yeah.
Like at all.
Are you in therapy?
I'm not. I'm doing 12-step.
Yeah.
And that's really working for me.
Yeah, I want to
Therapy never worked.
You know what's fucked up? Like,
are you in therapy?
I want to be. I did it about, I don't even know if it's a year or 2 years ago. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Like, I did it a little bit ago. And I had 3 sessions. Just so fucking expensive, man. I don't have insurance. It was like $150 a session.
Yeah.
And after the 3rd session, I was like,
so I have a tip for you if you do want to try to get back into it.
Yeah, I do.
Because I'll tell you off air, but I did try to go. So before when I was kind of dabbling around and trying to figure out what I needed to do, I did get into therapy. Um, but I've been in and out of therapy my whole life,
Mhm.
and it just never worked. Like I always I either put on an air, or I try to make them laugh,
Mhm.
or I get in there and I just avoid everything for, forever. Like I will never address anything.
Well, that was the cool thing about paying the $150. It's like, I'm gonna fucking tell you exactly, you know what I mean? Like,
Even then, I feel like I never got anywhere. Have you done therapy before? Because I'm
yeah,
not against therapy. I'm very pro
yeah.
therapy.
No, when I was like really young, but I would tell them stuff and they'd tell my parents. So I was like
So you stopped telling them things.
well, I was sort of like fuck therapy for a very long time
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I was really young, and this is before I started eating mushrooms. So this is before I was 12, right?
Okay, yeah.
I never went to therapy after that until I decided to.
So your parents were kind of aware. Were you getting in trouble in school? Is that what got
Yeah,
you
I didn't give
there?
a fuck. I was just a fucking weirdo,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like really odd and couldn't make normal social connections.
Okay.
Didn't really care about school. Didn't care about much, really.
So they were like, this kid needs to get into therapy,
I saw this
or he's going to
movie
be a school shooter.
when yeah, exactly, exactly. I saw this movie, fucking Lorenzo's Oil. I forget what it was about. It was like this kid had this disease and he got all like real messed up from it, and it sounded like ADD. It was like a what is it called, an acronym, right?
Yeah.
See, I'm too dumb. I don't know. Whatever. When you have an
When,
abbreviation for like the
yeah,
letters,
yeah.
you know,
I think it's an acronym. I
it,
don't know.
it sounded like ADD. And then I got like a
I
test.
stayed back in 8th grade. I don't know.
And then I got the test for actual ADD.
Yeah.
And I'd seen this Lorenzo's Oil movie, and he had
And did you just emulate
I think it was my
what you saw there?
no. This was like a physical disease, and the kid almost died and stuff. But then they told me I had ADD, and I thought it was this
Jesus.
thing that this kid had in this movie, and I freaked the fuck out. Like and they lied to me, and they told me you don't have it. It's okay.
Because you freaked out?
Because I freaked out.
Wow.
That much. And then I never got technically diagnosed because of that.
Wow.
Which is great, I guess. I mean, like,
I think the whole
speed,
diagnosis thing was crazy anyway. I honestly think I was misdiagnosed. I honestly think I'm dyslexic and it was misdiagnosed as ADD.
Interesting.
Because I am so kind of control oriented, where like I'm going to understand what this is.
Mhm.
It just will take me twice, 3 times as long as the normal person should interpret it. And that's what they diagnosed as ADD, was because I was taking twice or 3 times as long to complete these tasks that they were assigning me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a weird thing. A lot of the people I know that have been diagnosed with ADD can do something really well.
Yeah,
Like,
it is hyper focus.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it's like hyper focus, but in kind of the wrong ways. It's not in the, it's like it works for adults, but when you're a kid and you're supposed to be listening to what the adults are saying, it's not ideal.
Right. Well, in terms of like programming, I've heard this like new saying.
Neurotypical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that paradigm.
Neurotypical and neuroatypical.
It's weird because like hearing that in the context, like there's something
I
about,
like it.
I like it as well,
Yeah.
but hearing it in the context, I guess, like, because we grew up in like a different sort of aspect. There's like this weird sort of push against it.
Yeah.
But I like that,
like labeling in general.
towards labeling in general, yeah. But like that paradigm, I totally agree with. Like, there is no normal.
I actually find I've found a lot of really cool things on TikTok, and there is like, if you use the algorithm right, you can really like have these like self-affirming and educational, parts of the algorithm. Like you can surf the algorithm.
Oh, that's cool.
That's actually my bio is that just algorithm surfing, because
Oh,
it's like you
interesting.
can like surf the algorithm into like these lanes. Like if you need kind of affirmations, you can go down this way and just start liking. It's all about what you let play through all the way and what you interact with. So like if you don't like something, if you don't like dancing or you don't like this other side of things, there's like lanes of TikTok. So it's all
Yeah.
about like if you don't like that content, just skip it. If you do like it, like, react to it
Hmm.
and let it play all the way through. If you really like it, let it play all the way through a few times. Like it, comment, copy the link. Like there's ways that you can like make the algorithm like go in directions you want it to go
Right.
in. Yeah.
Totally.
And that Chinese algorithm is like super responsive. It's hyper responsive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find it really interesting. But there's really interesting people that have like there's therapists on there that have like informational pages, you know? And then it's like if you want to hear more, go to my YouTube.
Sure.
Or if you want longer form videos, go to my YouTube, go to
Yeah,
my
that's
Instagram.
cool.
And it's like TikTok is being used as this hook toward longer form.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I like it a lot.
My friend was asking me to get a TikTok today.
I don't create on it. I just surf.
Yeah, and he, I don't know, he like made a video and he got a bunch of likes or something.
The service TikTok in specific will boost, like if you get on there and you like they'll hook you, so they'll like make something hit and they'll give you that adrenaline rush from likes and interaction
Yeah.
on like an early post you make to keep you going, and then they'll give
Wow.
you a taste of that every so often.
That's crazy.
And you see it with people like, I had like a lot of interaction and now I don't know what happened. I think I'm shadow banned. It's like, no, there's millions of people on this app and they need to let
Wow.
one person shine every once in a while.
That's interesting because it's like it's kind of democratic, but also in like a very like gambling sort of way.
And
You
it
know what I
definitely
mean?
is. You got to see it for what it is. They're definitely taking advantage of how they know the brain chemistry reacts to.
Well, that's what all these
social
Instagram
media.
yesterday tried getting rid of showing
Likes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been talking about that forever.
It lasted for a day.
They killed it in Australia.
So they got rid of the likes.
I believe so.
I'm on the fence about it. Again, I didn't grow.
I don't even look at people's numbers. Like I don't look at how many numbers people. I look at followers. I do look at followers.
I get for kids growing up with it, I think there shouldn't be the likes and stuff. And I guess I should be willing to sacrifice it overall in a business sense. I'm like, I like having the likes because then I'm like, okay, people like this, people don't like this. But I think
it is valuable.
it's very valuable. Yeah, I can sort of measure, okay, people like this, people don't like this. I should keep doing this. I should not keep doing that. Not like that's
I'm not
the
super
only
good
way.
at. I'm not even great at that. I'm like, I know how to create this one type of content. Either it's gonna work or it's not.
Yeah, well,
And
that's
so
more
it's like-
respectable. No, that's way more respectable. I was just gonna say, it's not like that determines everything that I'm doing,
Yeah.
but I do make my living off of it, so I have to consider it. I can't not consider it. But like, I could understand being a kid today and
I couldn't even imagine.
measuring yourself against likes on somebody else, and then
Dude, I was already so insecure without social media. Like
100%,
Facebook
yeah.
was introduced when I graduated high school.
right.
Like when I got on Facebook,
was like
you
a
still
sophomore.
needed a college email address to join Facebook.
Oh wow.
Yeah, when I graduated high school, I was only able to join Facebook because I got a college email address.
Whoa.
And like I am well, we did MySpace, like you did stuff like that, but like
Mhm.
I wasn't as tapped into it.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, I was doing drugs.
Uh-huh.
I was playing punk music
Yeah.
and doing drugs.
Yeah, I was not
and selling weed,
no,
like
not associating with a social
yeah.
scene.
And I had a job, like
Yeah.
I was doing shit. I wasn't
Yeah.
worried about fucking MySpace.
Man, I wasn't doing shit. I was just getting fucked up and playing music. Yeah.
You were playing music?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what did you play?
I played bass in this band. But I mean I played
That's funny, I was a bassist too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Did you guys ever start playing shows or do you just
Yeah, we were playing shows and stuff, but we never toured, which was always like kind of frustrating to me. I think they went on one tour, but I was like out of the band by
Okay.
then. Yeah, I always wanted to like push it forward and do something with it. Um, yeah, never really. I mean, it was fun, you know. It was a lot of fun. I loved doing it. Um,
So, okay, let me just reset it here. So, you're young. When you start doing mushrooms, we kind of addressed that you know, it did explode your brain a little bit, but
mhm.
you were able to find forgiveness. You were able to find kind of your place in the universe which is that, you know, it's pretty inconsequential,
Yeah,
which is, I think, very helpful to learn young,
yeah,
you know, and so, and then and then you kind of move through high school as, you know, an artist and a musician, and you
yeah,
kind of find your voice that way.
yeah. I mean, a little bit. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care what people. I really didn't care what people thought about me. You know, I didn't like. I remember there was this project in. It wasn't even a project in 10th grade. We had in my history class. It was the only AP class I had. I had like a good. I was like good at history. I guess I don't know. I don't know anything. Um,
That's cool. I like history now.
but yeah, no, me too. But like I don't feel like I'm educated enough on it. But like I was in this AP class, um, and this one kid in the class told me, he messaged me like on Sunday, and he's like, "We have this project due on Monday. You got to do this project." And I started messaging other people in the class like, "Tell me more. Like, what do I have to do for the project?" And da da da. It was all they were all bullying me. It was all made up. There was no project. And
They're
I
just,
did this whole project because this kid made this thing up.
that's
And
pretty elaborate.
yeah. No, the whole class must have thought I was a fucking weirdo. You know what I mean? Because they were all in on it.
That's pretty elaborate.
Dude, like literally everyone against me. I didn't even think about that.
See,
It took years later for me to look back and be like, oh, they were fucking with me.
that's so weird because my
Yeah.
place in school, you would have asked me. I'm like, I never even heard of this thing.
Right. Well, I was asking the people that I thought would know shit. Yeah. This is like when we had AIM, you know what I mean? So I'm like,
Sure, yeah.
like
That's
aiming
so
at people.
weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird bully.
No, for sure. And
That's such a weird move.
yeah, so it was like I got bullied like a little bit, but I didn't even notice it, so I wouldn't even call it being bullied
It didn't affect you.
at all. I was so fucked up, dude.
That's cool.
I was high and I was
I
fucking
appreciate that.
Yeah. I
Because
think it helped. Yeah.
I definitely, you know, was mean, but not really on purpose to people. I just wanted to, you know, try to make people laugh. And if trying to make these people laugh meant you were the butt of the joke, then that's what I was doing, you know,
definitely.
and that's all. I've just always tried to make people laugh. And, but I thought I was going to be a musician, you know, I thought I was going to be like
Yeah.
a fucking, you know, a rock star.
How does that tie in, you being a musician and then making people laugh? And
I just wanted a reaction out of people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I guess just being an artist in general, you sort of want some sort of reaction. Right?
Were you tied into that at all? Or you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, that I was.
Because you were playing music.
Yeah, I was playing music. I was painting and whatever, you know.
Okay.
But it wasn't in a cool way, you know. Like I was just doing it, like no.
You were very detached from trends. Detached from.
Yeah, I played
kinda
Halo
what
a
was
lot too,
cool.
though.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my.
You were
like,
definitely the kind of guy
Yeah.
that I would hang out. Like one of my good friends, you know, he was super into video games. He really, really talented artist, you know, a little bit of a weirdo, didn't really talk to that many people, but you know, in my town, the stoners were kind of cool though too, you know?
Yeah.
So it was definitely, there was a little bit of that.
That's cool. Yeah, we didn't have that. It was like, yeah, the fucking high school I went to for the first 2 years, like had MTV had a show there called The Press.
Weird.
Yeah, Joe Biden who's our president now. He was the vice president at the time. Came down and like gave a speech. You know, it was like
For an MTV show?
no for
Oh.
for the graduation. But I just mean like the school. There was like 5,000 people in the school.
Wow. So it was a big school.
Yeah, it was huge. So,
Okay.
So it was very much like
It's like the school you saw on like 90s movies.
100%.
Yeah.
It was that. And I didn't even really comprehend
That's
the
wild.
archetypes in 90s movies when
Yeah.
I was in high school.
But it was
Again,
so real.
that's what it was, like, in retrospect. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy
Yeah.
because my school, I think I graduated with like a little over 1,000 people.
Wow.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think maybe 1,000 people. So that's wild.
No, that's cool, though. I feel like you get more, like, you're able to get more personal and stuff.
I think it kind of messed me up a little bit because I was kind of, I was able to make a bigger noise in a smaller pool,
That's
where
awesome.
then when I tried to make a noise in a big pool, I got crushed a little bit.
That's interesting. You saying that makes me realize I had the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were crushed young, and,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and you were cool with it.
Yeah, I didn't even know I was being crushed. And then afterwards, I was like, what,
I kind
whatever.
of just put that together, but yeah, I was like, I definitely got crushed a little bit in Boston, where I was like trying to like do things and like, and just never really catching.
Sure.
Little that is what the process is, to do
100%.
something successful. You need to fail 99 times to succeed the once.
Well, the social aspect, I think, of just anything. Like if you're going to be an artist and you're going to try to make it like an integral part of your life that you can continue to do forward and funding it doing that, I think you have to be sort of like tapped into these social aspects of whatever you're involved in. Like it can't just be the thing. It can't just be out of pure passion. And I hate to fucking say that.
Well, and you kind of need to be okay with failure.
Yeah.
In a way, you
100%.
need to be okay, to fail publicly.
Yeah,
As
definitely.
an artist, really.
I think, and I need to stand by this more, but I think the better an artist, the more willing they are to fail publicly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So did you go to college?
I got an associate's degree in liberal arts. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Where at?
Broward Community College. Yeah.
Where's that? In Florida?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Florida, in Broward County. And then I got an associate's in that, and then I went to a vocational college type thing up in New Jersey called Salem Community College, and it was for like scientific glasswork.
Okay.
And I did that for a year, and I was like, "Fuck this! I just want to work for myself."
Yeah.
I never wanted to go to art school. I never wanted anyone like telling me.
How do you get from being this kind of willing, so this willingly awkward kind of outcasty kid?
I wasn't even willing, dude. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had social cues weren't a thing that I understood at all.
Really?
At all.
See, I was governed by them a lot.
I remember I made out with this girl, and she grabbed my balls when I was making out with her. And then I remember like going to school, like, on Monday, talking to this girl in my class about it. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I had no idea that, you know what I mean?
Really?
I had no idea that meant she wanted to do more than make out. I was confused.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea, dude. I was completely clueless.
I was completely governed by social,
Wow.
trying to like be accepted and be funny and like,
Huh.
and yeah, like, and I mean, little did I know I was trying to entertain people, and that's really what it was.
Sure.
I was just kind of fogged up, smoking weed constantly.
Yeah. But still wanting to be entertaining and seeing the results of like what that brings.
Yeah. Like I
didn't understand that.
Yeah, like but at the same time, like I was likable. I was never, people liked me, but I was never.
Yeah.
I was definitely not overly socially awkward.
Yeah.
I just was into socially awkward things. I was into, kind of alternative music, and I was into alternative, leaning styles.
Sure.
So, but I was definitely governed by what people think and how they think and why they think it.
Yeah, I think
it's kind of mind blowing that like you just weren't even attached to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it, because it's weird thinking back on it.
Really?
Because I'm a completely different person. I mean, I was a kid,
Okay.
but seeing how that's because now I'm super aware of it.
Okay. What I do want to touch upon is kind of after school. So you go to school to learn how to create scientific glass,
Yeah.
scientifically functioning glassware, which
Yeah.
is like hyper, formed and measured. It's meant for measuring,
Right.
and to take heat and all that.
Sure.
How so this might overlap a little bit. How do you get from scientific to functional to tobacco use only?
I don't think it's that big of a bridge, I think having all the plumbing and stuff that you need for like a tobacco use pipe, right? Um
I mean, we don't even need to say it that
I
way
know
anymore. I just
where
felt like it was a funny way to put it.
my fucking PayPal and Venmo just got canceled because I sell pipes.
Really?
Everybody in my shop
Really?
within a week, we all got our shit shut down, which is insane.
I
Because
didn't even know that was still a thing.
me neither.
Because it's still
We're in Maine.
federally considered paraphernalia.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even considered it.
something to do with the way that PayPal and Venmo filed their taxes or some shit. I don't know, but yeah,
Crazy. I
got
think they are
shut
trying to
down.
become banks. I think
That makes sense.
Yeah, so
That
they're
makes
probably
sense.
trying to clean house.
Yeah, they kicked us out.
Wow.
I don't
So
what-
tobacco use only.
tobacco use only. Yeah.
So
yeah, sorry.
so
I think that the scientific stuff was a precursor to that with like the plumbing for the pipes and all that
and
stuff.
you were using it. You were aware
yeah.
that glassware was like a thing and that it was,
Yeah,
is that why you pursued scientific glass?
no, I started blowing glass because pretty much I grew up with all these painters and stuff, and I was painting as well, and they were like so much better than me. And I found this glass blowing studio and sort of latched onto it. I was already smoking weed and I had like pipes and I thought they were really cool. Or I had a pipe, but I always thought it was like the idea of pipes were like really cool.
Yeah.
And I found this glass blowing studio, started, going there and whatever and like blowing glass there. And I knew that like my friends weren't doing that, my painter friends. So it was like, this is how I can be better than you guys at something.
So you
like,
did
can't touch
eventually
this.
try to, be, shine at something. Because I think that
Yeah.
picking up on those social things that we were just talking about
Mhm.
is kind of, you're aware that you want to shine at something. You're aware that you want to be better than other people at something.
Yeah.
That's kind of what these social cues instill in you.
Yeah.
And so you did kind of start to pick it up in your, environment within artists. You kind of wanted to one up the people you're
Yeah,
around.
totally. I mean, I couldn't as a painter, so
So you kind of felt insecure about
100%. Yeah.
your art.
Yeah, definitely. So the glass was sort of like a way to be like, all right, like you guys can't do this.
That's cool.
at all. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and they're also, down there painting and they're amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Anybody you want
Yeah.
to shout out, point people
Yeah,
toward?
Rainier Gamboa, fucking insane. Gabriel Correa, amazing. Galad, I forget his last name. Super amazing.
What kind of are they doing? Canvases or
Yeah,
doing
like
street?
oil paints and
Oh, wow.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just like
That's really cool.
so good. And like then there was like all these photographers and stuff too. They were all like really tapped into the art thing.
Okay.
And that was really attractive to me. I didn't really understand it, but I
Yeah.
gravitated towards it and just kind of played with it,
Yeah. You wanted that to be your community.
That is what
You wanted to have
exactly.
some standing in that community.
Well, even to this day, like not even standing, just like community with it, right? So
Sure.
like even to this day, like that period of time that I had with those people, I want to recreate something like that. Like that's almost more important than the work that I make or my ideas of
is the
art
is
or
the fact
whatever.
that you come from those are your peers and you want to continue to shine a light on that, or you want to
no, it's like
you want to create new community.
well, yeah, it's a new community. It's like being in love with that time, right? Like the feeling of that time
Yeah.
was so influential to me that I would like to be able to contribute that back, but I have to get into that space again in order to do that. I don't think that will ever
I feel like it's part of
appearing
being
in.
young as well. You're a lot more
Sure.
prone to be a part of a community and lean on the people around you and pick them up and they pick you up and and be a spokesman for your friends.
Yeah.
Like they're so cool. We're all doing really cool things. I think that's definitely, I feel like that definitely happens a lot more when you're young.
Yeah. I mean,
But to tie it in Portland specifically where we are, I feel like there is a level of that there because there's so much art here, because it is a smaller city. That community is very important here.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's part of why I like Maine so much.
Yeah.
Or Portland at least. Like there are all these little pockets of like different there's like makers and stuff. Like I know there's like a little group of like woodworkers and I'm in love like I love the glass thing. And there's a great glass community up here,
There is, yeah.
but it's my life, you know? It's like I'm consumed with it
And so
and
you're interested in these other
I'm
things.
interested in other things. Yeah.
But that's kind of what it is. Like if yeah, there's these pockets, but it's like, oh, the wood guys are doing crazy stuff, and these guys painting are doing, this guy's really good, and this guy's really, and it's like it kind of all ties together,
Yeah, definitely.
which is nice about being in a smaller city is that you can kind of mesh these different pockets of communities
For sure.
together.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do with this. I'm trying to highlight those people and give, because my theory is that the better an artist, performer, entertainer, or the artist, entertainer, or business owner.
Yeah.
So the better that person personally, the more likely you will be you, the more likely you'll be an engaged fan.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like not to go against that. I think I'm guilty of that. Like I love like learning about like these personalities and stuff with like bands I like and stuff. But personally, I feel like, oh, I don't want people to equate who I am with my work, even though it's inevitably intertwined, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like who I am and my work are these like completely separate things. I want my work to speak for itself. I don't want to have to speak for my work. You know what I mean? Like whatever.
I think your work
Yeah.
does. I think your work definitely does speak for itself. But I think that in today's culture, people want to know the artist.
Yeah, no, I think I want to know the artist. Like
You like to know the artist you like.
No, totally. I'm totally interested in it. I don't know why I feel that way, but that is my perspective on it for sure.
Okay, now we're back from a technical glitch and bathroom break. Let's bring it back around. So you were part of this great artist community that you really respected in Florida.
Yeah.
And you started blowing glass in order to kind of have your own voice within that community.
Well, I mean, I think I just wanted to be looked at the way that I looked at them, you know?
And you felt like you weren't getting that with painting or...
No, I feel like I've never gotten that anywhere ever. You know what I mean?
Really?
And it's weird because I make my living off of making art, you know?
Yeah.
But
I mean, your glass is incredible.
no, thank you. I appreciate it. But I still don't feel that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wanted to position myself to feel the way that I looked at them. You know what I mean? Which isn't, it's all subjective or whatever, but I want to feel that way about, still want to feel that way about myself, with the work that I make. I want to look up to my own work. Yeah.
So
not that
it's hitting me as strange that, you had this completely nonchalant attitude when you were young. You weren't worried about what people thought about you in high school. You weren't worried about being, socially accepted in the slightest. But then when you get into this artist community, you're
well, because I don't think like I didn't give a shit about anyone in high school. I didn't look at anyone in high school was like, oh, that's cool.
You didn't respect what they were doing.
Not really. Like there were like the little kids in the fucking emo scene or whatever, the little like the outcast people or the stoners, and I'd be like, oh, there's like the one cool kid in that scene. But they never had anything to back up their coolness.
They just liked music.
They just seemed a little bit intimidating, and there wasn't much to back it up. So it's like I didn't really care, but like
yeah.
I remember meeting this painter, and his room was filled with these paintings, and it was like, holy fuck, like you have stuff to back up who you are. Which like I don't really believe that people need, but that perception of him as a painter and her as a photographer, his girlfriend, just transformed the way that I like interact with the world, I think. Yeah.
You wanted to impress him. You wanted to impress them.
Yeah, that whole group.
So that was your driving force, was just to impress them, not really to rise above, but just to get their approval.
Yeah, totally. And then the glass was able, okay, now I'm completely separate. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I don't even have to rise above, because no matter what, you can't do this. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. And did you get that from them through the glass?
No, of course not, because it was all in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of it was real. Like you were saying before, it's just a thing when you're a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. So you kind of circled back around to, accepting these insecurities that, usually you shed as you come into adulthood, but since you kind of shed them young, you kind of circled back around and you kind of got into that mindset again.
Yeah,
a little bit older.
And I still, and I still think I have those same insecurities. Like I don't think I'm making work that's sounds so terrible, but I don't think I'm making work that's worthy unless I'm trying to one up or impress myself.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing that, then
what's your favorite part of the process?
That's such a hard question. I really don't know. Like the creating, because it takes the
what like keeps you coming back to blowing glass, creating.
Well, I don't think it's just about blowing glass for me. It's like just the process of creating something, like the motivation to do something, making myself the laborer of my will, I think would be the best way to describe that. And then looking at the fruit of my labor and moving forward from there.
Just because you are good at it now. And do you feel like you are good at it now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a good glassblower, but like what I'm talking about is an artistic process. Like that's more valuable to me than just being a good glassblower. You know what I mean? Like you could be good at something. You know what I mean? But it doesn't really have value unless you can bring value to it. A lot of people like to think, okay, I can do this really well, I'm content with that. Not a lot of people like to think. I don't know what a lot of people think.
I'm not trying to get too like a pharaoh. Like I want to establish it in reality. Like I want to know like
I don't
like
think
what
there's
gets
anything
you
fucking
up in the morning.
Yeah. What gets a fuck, my cat? Look, I don't think there's anything impressive with being. There's minimal impressiveness with being very good at something, right? Back to these painters, right? They were good. I knew people that were better at describing a physical thing with a paintbrush.
Yeah.
They expressed themselves and also had the skill.
What kind of painting were they doing? Were they doing like realism stuff? Were they doing...
Yeah, it was like a fantasy realism. I don't know what you would call it.
I like that. I like that type of painting.
It's amazing. Yeah, I'll have to show you afterwards. It's so fucking cool. But being able to express yourself, I think, is what I find interesting.
Yeah,
at least, is all I really.
So, do you feel like you're expressing yourself through glass?
I feel like I have, and I am, in a way.
How? So I've always been curious because I feel like glass is definitely, yes, it's an art. There's no debating that the high-end glass is an art. What you're doing is an art, and I'll put some stuff up so that people can have context while
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
are.
They'll be like, this guy hates his work. Perfect.
But what you're doing, I mean, it's mind-blowing, and what you're doing is definitely art. And you don't even just blow, you don't even just do functional pieces. You do these artistic pieces as well, and these collabs with other people, and you have a very impressive style, but it's also a trade. And
Hmm.
so there is this line of like glass blowing is one of those, yes, it's an art, but it's also a trade,
Yeah.
and it's also a way that you're making money. Where like painters, you know, they can find ways to make it a trade, if they're doing portraits, or they find ways for people to pay them, or they do like these, or like these dog portraits are kind of big right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's got a fucking dog, and so
Yeah.
it's like everybody's getting dog portraits, and so that's kind of a big thing. But like, do you see it as a trade, or do you see it as expressing yourself through the
Oh
glass?
man, it's so hard. Like I mean, it's so hard in terms of perception. Like it's fine overall, but like I feel like w- as a job, it's a trade, right? Um, but my reason for getting into it wasn't for it to be a trade. And I'm so fucking lucky that I get to spend every day blowing glass. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I never thought that was a thing. I
Okay.
didn't I didn't realize
So
that.
that's what keeps you coming back, is like, I
n-
get to do this.
No.
No?
No, that's not what keeps me coming back. I'm just trying to like make sure that it's known that I'm grateful for it. Like
I don't think you sound ungrateful. I really
yeah,
don't.
I feel like I do.
I feel like you're trying to be this brooding artist, and I'm trying to cut through that, and
Okay.
to get
No, I'm being honest. I'm not.
yeah, no, and you are a brooding artist, and I'm just trying to shake you up a bit.
Yeah, the work I want to make, I don't know if it will pay my bills. So that's not a trade.
I mean, you must go into some pieces like, this has sold well before, so I'll do another one, and then
Yeah, because my landlord fucking makes sure of it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there is this aspect of a
Our
trade.
landlord.
There is this aspect of a craftsman, being a craftsman,
Yeah.
like this last one sold for a lot and quickly, so I'll do another one of those, so I know I have that to sit on, and then I'm able to do this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there is
100%.
there is some of that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I mean, I think also,
You're not Pollock, you're not getting off by throwing glass against the
no, but
wall.
like, I think Pollock, that's a really great example. He did portraits before. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Like, people knew him for his portraits.
Exactly.
He had a foot in the door doing the portraits. And then he fucking was like, I'm an alcoholic and I want to spill shit everywhere.
Yeah.
And people were like, all right,
So you got your foot in the door with this drip work.
I can make my living doing it.
Yeah.
And like, that's something for sure.
Yes.
But like, maybe I want to just spill shit everywhere, and
Yeah.
that's,
And you still have plenty of time to do
no,
that.
for sure. And that's what I'm saying is like, that is the separation between the trade and the art. That being said, the trade that I exist in,
Yeah.
I created that lane for myself through art.
Yeah. That's really cool. Not everybody can say that.
Like I wonder how many times Pollock spilt all this shit and he was like, yeah,
That's
still
what I'm
feel
gonna
really good about this, 10 years of spilling shit.
He had to
know?
have started to hate it.
I would think so.
I would think so too.
Yeah, because as a human being, you want novel experience. You just
Yeah.
want new stuff.
And now it's like everybody expects me to spill shit,
Right.
and I want to. I wouldn't mind doing a portrait.
Right, exactly. You want to go back to it.
Yeah.
That's a real thing though.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I want to play punk music again or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to fuck around with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
With the new fresh eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
30 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I struggle with it because I'd like to be an artist, I'd like to be able to just do comedy, or just like tell stories, or just do this, but it's like I did get into a trade, and I got into, and my trade is supporting other artists, but there's not a lot of art in engineering, you know, it's a science. It is a trade. And I'm lucky and I love my job because I do get to be around creative people. I do get to be in that supportive role. I am really good at that and it is fulfilling, but I do have this itch of, you know, expressing myself, helping other people express themselves, you know, like pull that out of you. Like, yeah, okay, it is a trade, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I do have to go to work every day. But I find days within that I'm able to throw some glass against the wall.
You're able to express yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I feel
How do
like
you make time for that? How do you manage that?
I do shit like this, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, I was doing open mic comedy. But
At
even
Empire before?
yeah, but even that was tough because it's like this is a hard town to do comedy in. And it's a hard town to get good at comedy in because there's a handful of open mics. Like you go to a bigger city like New York or LA, there are a number of mics you can go to every night of the week.
Mm,
So like I was in LA for a week and I got more work done on 5 minutes than I did in 5 years doing it here.
really?
Yeah. And so it's like I just kind of realized that like I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that here.
But back to what we were talking about before, like, are you trying to do it as a trade or are you trying to not trying to? Are you doing it
That's the
as a
thing.
passion? Yeah.
I have the luxury to only do it as a passion because I have this trade,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
So mine are separate. And so that's why I am intrigued by when you have it in one place.
Yeah.
Mine have always been separate.
I
I've
think that's
always had
smart.
work and then a hobby.
I think that's smart.
And the one time I did try to tangle them up together, it exploded in my face.
Yeah.
You know, like I tried to do sound for this band and I lived with them and it was like a really intense part of life and it was really creative and emotional and expressive and it was incredible. It was an incredible time and I was in my 20s, so I really enjoyed it. And like I lived with the band and I'd help them with practice and then so that they could really kind of focus on the music and then get them on the road. And you know, as it goes with bands, it fizzled out, you know, unless you hit it big. I feel like
Yeah.
some bands, you know,
Definitely.
unless you hit it big, you know, you end up fucking hating each
You
other
got like
really
10 years.
really quickly. Yeah.
And even still, that's a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot. You know, if you don't have a step forward within like the first 5 years, people lose interest.
Definitely.
And so I kind of was on the tail end of that, but it was like a really great time in my life. But that was the one time I tried to like, I was passionate about my trade and it just like, but at that time I did find comedy too.
That's cool,
And
man.
so
I've never seen you do stand up. I would really like to see that.
I'm not that good. I'm not good.
Well, I know.
I haven't been able to do it much, you know?
I would still like to see it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it sucks.
Oh, it's terrible. I make people very uncomfortable.
Man, how do you deal with that? Like I hear, because I'm watching all these fucking podcasts now,
Yeah.
and it's like this is my community, like this is my conversations that I get to have with people, like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I hear bombing is the worst thing. Like, have you bombed before? What's that like?
Yeah. Over and over and over
Yeah,
and over. I tell the story a little bit when I in my conversation with Tim Duffy. But and I don't know the order that these are going to come out, but I mean, when I first started, I did okay. And I would get laughs because it was new, it was raw, it was exciting, and I was just telling stories. And I had crazy stories because I was
Right.
an active drug addict. And so
Right.
I just went on stage and I told people the truth about what was happening in my daily life, and it was shocking and funny and
Oh man.
you know, and so I was able to like get a taste of it and like be good at it and get laughs and be engaging. And then
It was like TikTok when they give you that.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Instead of the dopamine coming from like them giving you 5 million followers, you're getting the dopamine from doing a bunch of blow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then getting on stage,
right.
you know, and do it in the bathroom and then get on stage,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and so
The combination. Yeah.
yeah, and so and then I kind of got sick of that, and I was like, I can't keep doing it that way. I wanted to start to write material, and then I did nothing but bomb for years.
Once you started writing
but,
material.
yeah, I've done nothing but bomb for like the past, 4 years.
So what does that feel like?
It feels like so the best way I can put it is I'll describe one time that it happened. I get on stage and I am just nothing's working. I'm getting like
How long are you up there for?
a minute.
Wait, 1 minute?
Oh no, I'm up there for 5.
That's 5 minutes.
So, but I'm up there for 1 minute, and then this starts to happen.
Oh,
I like
okay.
kind of, and there's not a lot of people in the room either, and so, and so what happened is that it just, you could feel like I was getting pity laughs. I was getting like he ha huh.
Oh, that sounds
Huh.
hot. Yeah.
And so and so
Should
what
do
happened
stand-up
was
comedy.
I was like, well, if we're gonna be quiet, then let's just be quiet. And I just got everybody to be quiet
For how long?
as long as I could stand it.
Whoa.
So
that's
and
pretty
so I got
intense,
so I got
dude.
everybody to be quiet, and I could literally, like, the HVAC was deafening. The HVAC, you know, that's supposed to be this
Wait, but why would
background
you do
hum.
that though? You're like,
Was
I'm
deafening.
like, this
'Cause
isn't
I was
working.
already, it just
So I
already
want
wasn't
to,
working.
You're
so-
like, I'm suffering. I
So
want
the-
to suffer as much as possible.
Yeah, and actually I saved it that way because I'm like, all right, if we're just leaning toward being quiet, then let's just be quiet together. And so everybody was just quiet with me. I tuned into the
Oh, man.
I tuned in the HVAC, and the HVAC became deafening. And then the bartender started to clean, and she clanked a glass. I was like, "Can you keep it down back here? We're trying to do something." And that got a pop.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, thank you, good night.
Whoa, that's crazy. Man, I gotta see you do stands.
And there's, you know, but there's a number of times where you get up and you try and you try and you try and you try and you don't stop trying, and then you leave stage, you know? It's like that time
Yeah.
I just accepted it. I just stopped trying. Because
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to try to give you material that I think is good when what has worked in the past didn't,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, a lot of it's like audience based.
It's all audience based.
It's all audience.
It's an audience based art. It is nothing without reaction.
Oh man, that's such a weird.
So that's why it's so hard to get good at it in a small town, is because you need to get in front of an audience to get good at it.
And you're in front of this small demographic.
And when there's no audiences, it's really hard to get good.
Yeah, like what were the turnouts like at Empire?
I mean, they just had started getting better when
Before
this all
this
went
shit.
down, because
Yeah.
it turned into Empire Comedy Club. And,
Right.
And it had just started getting good, but for the whole time I've been here, you know, it would start off, you know, there's 20, 30 comedians that are trying to get on stage, but then you end up at the end of the list, or you get there late, or it's a lottery list, and you end up and you go up at the end of the night. You know, you're going up in front of the 3 comedians that are still waiting to go up.
Right.
And the host and the bartenders. I obviously get into endeavors where I just hit my head against a wall.
Mm.
And if I'm not in an endeavor where I'm hitting my head against the wall, I'm not really interested. Like I want to fight. I want to fight for it.
Yeah.
And the shitty thing is also, I hate fighting for it. So it's like this turmoil that I'm not sure why I keep getting myself into these situations.
It's kind of like masochistic, right?
Like with this situation, like it only works if I continue to hit my head against the wall, and it hasn't even started to work yet. And I'm just starting to hit my head against the wall.
Do you find when you find yourself in those situations that once it starts to work, you become less interested?
I hope not.
Well, I mean, in past situations.
No, I mean with comedy, it was when it started to work, I got more into it. It was when I would
Then it
like
just stopped
I would
working.
have like I would have either an epic bomb or get too busy and then and like not get on stage for
So the
months.
bombing thing is motivating.
It is a little bit because you want to get over it, but it also you have to like get over a bomb. Like when you have like a really bad one, and then you try to get back on stage. That's the nice thing. That's why it's so hard here is because
I see.
I bomb. I don't really have an opportunity to get back on stage for a week. In a bigger city, you bomb, you can go and get back on stage immediately.
You
You
get
get right
vilified.
back on the bike.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, though it just didn't work in that place at that time.
Right.
But it works here. You know? And so, or it didn't work and it didn't work and I either make it work or I scrap it. You know? And so it's like, that's why it is very frustrating trying to do comedy here. Where like when I started that first year that I was doing okay, I was in Boston, and I was only doing one mic a week, but like
I hear it's very hard
there
in
was
Boston.
there
Do you
was
feel like it's harder down there or up here?
there was an audience there,
Yeah, sure. There's always people out.
yeah, and it wasn't just comics.
Right. I could see that at Empire just being comics.
Yeah, it's all just comics. An open mic is and even in bigger cities, the open mic is just comics, but the mics are so big that not everybody can get on stage. So like, sure, it's a room full of just comics, but it's not the comics that are getting on stage that night. You know?
Right. I do look forward to when this all opens up again to check it out.
I hope Empire comes. Yeah, I hope the hope is that Empire comes back.
This pandemic, dude, I don't see anybody. It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's fucking you up.
It's terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely taking it harder than some that I know.
Yeah, because I give a shit about it. Most people just go and do shit.
I give a shit, but at this point, I'm not going to let it stop me. And now my mom's vaccinated, so
Oh, that's awesome.
I honestly don't even give a shit anymore.
Yeah, my whole family had it, so
They all had it.
I shouldn't even be
So what are you worried about? You
giving
don't
it
want
to
to
some
get it.
fucking old lady. No, I don't get. I'll be fine. I think I'll be fine. Maybe I'll die.
What do you give a shit about stranger old ladies at this point?
Look, I think I give a shit about so much stuff in the world, right?
Yeah.
This is something that I don't have to do much to do something. You know, I literally have to do less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To help the world, supposedly.
Sure. And I don't want to
Yeah.
get it wrong. I have been very vigilant of I wear a mask in public. I
want to do
wash
yoga
my hands
and
constantly.
whatever, you know.
I exercise at home. I was always exercise. I never really went to the gym anyway. I always just exercise at home.
Oh, that's good.
So I mean, I know it doesn't look like I exercise, but I do exercise.
No, you look
But
hot.
so I mean, if your whole family had it, you don't want the weight of giving it to other people. You don't want that guilt.
No, and I don't even know if that's true. I think maybe I'm just fucking antisocial and
You're using it as an excuse.
and neurotic. That very well may be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, which may not be a bad thing because
I don't think. I mean, sure, it's not bad, but
my interactions have to be valuable now.
Yeah.
You know, before I would do whatever, hang out with whoever. You know, like
See, I've been very careful because my goal is to sit here one-on-one, and I don't want to get you sick. So I've been very vigilant in order not to get my guests sick.
oh okay.
That's been my whole focus. That's why I've taken it seriously at all.
See, I don't want to get someone at the fucking grocery store sick.
I don't give a fuck about anybody at the grocery store.
Dude, I don't know. I don't think I do either.
And
but
you're
this is
not
what
even gonna
I don't think that's even true.
You're
but
not
that's
even going to
how-
get them sick. Walking through the grocery store with a mask on,
I don't know.
There's no way you can get them sick.
Probably. You're probably right.
The only way it spreads, I mean, and I'm not a
You have to
fucking
suck someone's
scientist.
dick, right?
You have to suck someone's dick. That's the only way you can spread it.
Yeah.
You get it in your eye, and then you
Put it on
take it
someone's
off of
dick.
your eye, and you wipe their gums with it.
That's the only way.
That's the only way. You suck a dick, and then they come in your eye. And then there's another step, though. You have to take the cum out of
Yeah.
your eye and rub it on their gums.
Yeah, like if they just came in your eye, you're
Yeah,
fine.
like it's a 2-step process.
Yeah.
It's not just like you walk by somebody on the fucking street and they get fucking coronavirus.
No, for sure.
It's sitting in fucking restaurants. That's
It's
how
hanging
people are
out
getting
in the restaurants.
It's me and you. If I had it, you would have it.
Now I have it.
If I had it, now
Okay.
you have it.
Okay, so now you have it.
This is how you're telling me?
No, man. I like tested myself like 2 days ago. You know?
I just got a test on Monday, and I have been hyper vigilant about it. So
I've been
I understand.
insane. I have
but
a
I'm
fucking test on
I'm
me.
definitely not driving myself crazy about it. I'm not carrying tests around.
Yeah, no, I'm crazy.
A little bit. That's a little crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I don't think I'm driving myself crazy either, which is perfect. You know what I mean? So it's like, fuck you. This is what I believe. I have conviction about it, right?
Yeah.
But I think maybe it may just be conviction about me being antisocial and
You're just using this
neurotic.
excuse. Yeah.
I think that may be it. But it's like, if you want to fucking deal with me, then you have to deal with this.
Yeah.
You know what I
don't
mean?
think there's anything wrong with it.
So like,
At least it's antisocial in a responsible way.
yeah.
Like it's not really something to get mad at. I was happy to I didn't take your test that you brought for me,
No, because you told me you got tested.
but it's literally only because I got tested. I've been getting a test every 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Like I get a tickle in my throat for a day and I go get a test.
Yeah.
I'm also, so I grew up I got strep a lot
Oh, really?
my whole life, even
Oh.
as an adult. As a kid, I got it twice a year, every
Oh,
year.
wow.
And then as an adult, I started getting it like as an adult when I was 24, 23, 24, I had strep more than I didn't.
Whoa.
And I was sick for 2 years.
Holy fuck, dude.
And I had to
Is
beg.
that called something? Is there a word?
Yeah, my tonsils were just infected
Is that
constantly.
like bronchitis?
It's tonsillitis.
Tonsillitis.
And so and then I had a doctor. So the doctor that I was seeing at the time, like, made me all paranoid about it too. She's like, "This is how Jim Henson died. Jim Henson died from undiagnosed strep, and it went, and the infection went to his heart and killed him."
What?
And so the same doctor that's getting me all worked up about that strep can kill me would not sign off on getting my tonsils removed.
What?
And the first visit, I saw another doctor.
They're like, we're taking these things out.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I
dude?
was
That's
sick
insane.
for 2 years.
So you got to remove when you're like 25, 24?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. I know. And
Yo,
so like
Get rid of that. Call him out. What's his full name?
I don't even remember her name. It was this Irish woman in fucking Brighton.
Oh, it's because she's Irish. Okay.
But so
You just bleep it Irish out.
yeah. Second bleep of the show. So
no, that'd be perfect though, because then no one will know if I.
You said Irish earlier. So and then once I got my tonsils out, I did not get sick for a year. I didn't even get a cold. I think 2 years. I didn't even get a cold.
Wild, yeah.
And then recently in the last couple of years, I started getting strep again. So now every time I feel sick at all, I automatically think it's strep anyway. So I was used to going to doctors and getting tests. I was getting a strep test like every 6 weeks anyway. You know?
So you're like ready for the corona.
Yeah. I've been prepped for this.
Yeah.
You know, I've been antisocial. You know, I honestly needed the pandemic to get sober.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it otherwise.
Sure.
You know, I kept finding excuses. It was too distracting. Now I'm able to just do this, go inward, talk to people, actually relate to people, you know, and I'm thriving. This works for me, but I'm not letting it feed my, shitty parts. Like it sounds like you might be, but
no, I think the more destructive things of going out all the time,
sure,
and whatever was,
and so maybe the excuse
was distracting from my neuroticism, my antisocial, back to the fucking middle school and high school shit.
Okay,
it was distracting from that, So it was,
I
like people, I like to party and da 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 da. And it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but like valueless. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like now, I have to be more intentional.
I do think you can loosen it up a little bit. And I don't want to
You're probably right.
I don't want to as a friend, it's
Yeah.
like, especially if your whole family's had it, you're not going to spread it in the supermarket. That's not how it's spread.
Right.
It's spread from unprotected exposure with people.
And I was doing that before the pandemic.
What we're realizing is that our whole lives were unprotected exposure with people.
Yeah.
And that's what's fucking a lot of people up. There are going to be so many more neurotic people. Like, neuroticism isn't going to be retained for the Jews anymore. Right. Everybody's going to be neurotic after this.
Right. I'm going to the bar after this. Thank you.
I don't want to get other people sick here. So I do want to be very careful because I want to keep doing this. Mm-hmm. But my other thing is like, if my mom needed me to come home and like do something, which she never really would, but like, I didn't want to go home and kill her. And like, I have like seen my grandmother a few times and like, I wanted to be aware of that, and it's like, and so it's like, I did have those reasons, but like, if you don't have that, I wouldn't, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But
it doesn't fully.
Your life doesn't need to make sense to me.
Oh, I'm aware. I brought tests, didn't I?
But I now also didn't. I still don't disagree. I'll still take a test.
No, I mean
they're like $200 a piece, right?
1,000.
What?
$2 million for each test. No, they're like $50 a piece, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for $300, I got 20 tests.
How do you do it? Is it like a full nasal swab that you're swabbing people?
Sure, you don't want to. Yeah, so you pretty much fuck yourself in the nose like far, real far.
How are you getting people to do this?
People want to hang out with me, I guess.
You're not that cool.
I'm not cool at all. I don't know what's wrong with these fucking people. Yeah.
Like girls? Are you getting girls to test themselves before you hang out?
Oh, man. I got blackout drunk with a girl on Saturday. She tested herself so I could get blackout drunk.
Really?
Pretty much. She brought over the whiskey, though. I haven't drank liquor in like a year.
Really?
I've only been drinking beer. Yeah.
Well, good for you.
And then, I guess. And then, like, I drank it like
good
beer.
For you to like hang out with a girl and get blackout drunk, and that's willing to fucking fuck her face with a swab.
But the thing is, I don't know what happened. I mean, nothing bad happened or whatever. You know, I mean, I woke up.
You guys, that's why I'm saying good for you. Good for you that you had a good time.
I don't know. I got blackout drunk. I don't know if that's a good time. Like
that's a good time to me.
The last thing I remember, that's not a good time. This is the second time in my entire life I got blackout drunk. Like I remember we're listening to some music and she's like, "Have you heard of Philip Glass before?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can play one of his songs on piano." And I remember going to my piano and starting to play the Philip Glass song and I couldn't get it right. So I just kept trying to do it.
And that was the last thing you remember?
The last thing I remember. I woke up to Britney Spears' Toxic, the chords on my phone. So what I imagine happened is I didn't stop playing piano. And I'm trying to sing Toxic by Britney Spears. She passed out in my bed. Yeah. I slept on the floor because she was like, I'm not
You're
trying
too drunk, yeah.
Well, no, she told me like, "Oh, I'm trying to take things slow or whatever." I think I tried kissing her like a date before or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's crazy enough to come and take a test.
Yeah.
So
you're cool
whatever.
Enough. Yeah.
Like if you're gonna take a test.
Yeah, you look the right kind of Jewish.
And that worked out.
Oh, look at the camera.
I didn't mean to, man. You fucking call me Jewish. I'm gonna look at the camera, dude.
I know. I'm just giving you shit. I did that one on purpose to get that to see.
But yeah, I mean, like not just like friends too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm I want to have Sable over for dinner, but she's like, Bradley's fucking nuts. I'm not gonna deal with his shit, and I don't blame her. But I want her to come over for dinner because she's like my support system up here. Like I miss.
She won't face fuck.
She won't do it.
Why?
She won't.
If your money's gonna get spent on a test, I'm not a say no guy. I'm like,
right, and that's.
If I wanted to hang out with you, I would take a test. I don't.
Well, you said you were gonna take one.
I did. Yeah, I did. You can want to see my results.
We should still take one after this.
Want to do it right now?
Just to prove that you really wanted to hang out.
See now, then it becomes like you have to prove You have to prove if you like me.
I do think that's part of it, though, in my head. Yeah, like subconsciously, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine.
Do you really? You want to be my friend?
Like, are you willing to watch me get blackout drunk and try to play Britney Spears for you?
See, I don't have any friends. I need to trick people into this whole facade to talk to somebody.
Yeah, you gotta make the standards really. Yeah, that's what I do. Is I make the physical standards super high. You gotta fuck yourself in the face, and immediately within an hour, I'm gonna tell you about my childhood trauma.
See, I'm more giving than that. I'm like, come on, tell me about your childhood trauma, and then we'll air it, and it would be cool. It would be fun. It would be good for you. You know?
Whoever the fuck is gonna watch this.
Nobody's watching this.
Yeah, no one's watching.
Nobody's watching this.
Yeah, perfect. No, that's great. But if you are watching this, make sure you take a test. Like, if you haven't taken one up to this point, take a test.
Go get a test.
Buy the rapid test. Stick something up your nose.
Oh,
because you don't deserve this.
Face fuck, and then you can call me and we'll hang out.
Yeah. Definitely.
Me, you know, I like need to give something away to hang out. You know, it's like,
yeah. What would you give away?
Notoriety. I'm trying to give away notoriety. I'm trying to give away a chance for people to get to know you.
Got me to. Oh, I thought you were talking about yourself. Got me to show up.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you something. I'm trying to give you people. I'm trying to give you a chance to let your audience know you.
Fuck. All right, tight.
I think we'll wrap it at that. Yeah, thank you for doing this. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.